Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reviewing the Tennessee Titans versus Cleveland Browns game that just happened, where the Browns put the absolute beat down on the Tennessee Titans. The defense was great. The offense was great. Deshaun Watson looks like he might be playing better now. A couple of bad calls, things we're going to get into. Overall, a really well-rounded game that we're going to dive into, talk about it, give my opinion on kind of the whole course of the game, kind of break down each quarter, what was the good things, the bad things, things that were just kind of like an moment. Pretty much give you a kind of breakdown from a Browns fan point of view of this game. So without further ado, if you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure you do drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, starting off with the game, let's go ahead and talk about the defense a little bit. I feel like we're going to get a little bit of a repetitive talking about the defense because every single week, the defense has been incredible. And there's only so much I can say about this defense. Like, man, they're good at stopping the run. They're good at stopping the pass. They can make turnovers. I'm not going to say a lot other than they played great today. You're going to look at the scoreboard and you're going to say 3-27. Man, that was great. Technically, that 3 points isn't even on them. That 3 points is from Elijah Moore. He fumbled the ball earlier in the game. I believe it was like the 25, 26 yard line. It was a quick pass from Deshaun Watson. He tried to turn upfield, got the ball stripped out, fumbled the ball. The Titans didn't do anything with it. I think they actually went from 1st and 10. By the time they got the fourth down, it was like 4th and 14. Kicked the field goal, 3 points. Other than that, Titans didn't do jack shit. There was a couple moments where the Titans were actually moving the ball down the field. They got into field goal range right before halftime. But I'm telling you what, man, if people don't stop putting hate and dirt on Myles Garrett's name, he's going to hurt you. I mean, just looking at Myles Garrett's stat line, 5 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. The dude was playing out of his mind today. And he wasn't the only one getting the pressure. There was a lot of guys getting pressure throughout this game. Alex Wright got a sack. Ogbo was in there on one of the half sacks with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett has 3.5 sacks. They pretty much held Tannehill in check. 13 passes completed out of 25 passes, 104 yards total. Put it this way, this was a no-fly zone in Cleveland. And just in case you say, well, if they're not throwing the ball, they had to have been running the ball, right? They got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry probably ran the ball all over them. Nope. 11 carries, 20 yards for Henry. The other running back, Tyjae Spears, 4 carries, 6 yards. Now, I do want to point out, sometimes with these stats, they are a little bit puzzling if you don't actually watch the game. Because you're going to look at Derrick Henry's stat and say 11 carries for 20 yards. Man, that's not that good. He had, I think, like 3 big runs. I mean, his longest run was 9 yards. He had some big runs. It's just a lot of the time, he was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. A lot of his runs were -1, -2, -3 yards. So that kind of subtracted a lot of his yardage. When it comes to the opportunities the Browns had, there was, I believe, 2 opportunities they had for interceptions. Anthony Walker there at the end of the first half. Anthony Walker could have gotten a pick there at the end. And then on the throw, I believe it was 4th and 4 that Tennessee had when they got down there, downfield in the first half, to have a chance to go get a field goal at the end of the half. I forget who the corner was, if it was Cameron Mitchell. He was covering, I believe, Traylon Burks. He had a chance for an interception. He just whiffed on it. So overall, the defense played incredible. Now when it comes to the offense, let's kind of go quarter by quarter with this. First quarter, we kind of saw the same thing that we've seen the past few weeks. They look like they're trying new things. They're trying to be tricky, trying to be sneaky, trying to do fun things around the field. Doesn't really work out that well. They ended up only getting 3 points across the first quarter. In the second quarter, they kind of said, fuck this, let's start moving the ball down the field. Eventually got down the field. I believe it was a miss. The secondary for the Titans didn't actually decide correctly who was going to cover who. Jerome Ford got loose. Easy touchdown. They also got a field goal, made it 13-3 going halftime. The second half is where the defense, or where the offense, really took off. Now I want to point out something really quickly. This is not like this offense is going up against a very bad defense and we're just overreacting. The Titans defense is a really good defense. And anybody that says this defense is not that good, you're lying to yourself. The Titans defense has always been good. Mike Vrabel is a defensive coach and he knows defense. And if you go ask any player around the league, they will all tell you, name me, say a top 5 defenses you don't like playing. I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, Tennessee defense is up there. So let's get on to the third quarter. Like I said, this offense was cruising. They were moving the ball down the field. They got the nice running touchdown there at the midway point of the third quarter, put the score up to 20-3. Now I will say this, fuck the refs. The refs absolutely screwed the Browns out of easy touchdown. And I know some of you are going to look at the score and be like, bro, it's 3-27. What's a touchdown going to do? Because it could have been 3-31. That could have been a bonus points that we would like to have, please. And it's not even about the score. It's the fact of call the game fair. If you have not seen the clip, I'll put it on screen. You can see Deshaun Watson makes a nice throw out to Amari Cooper. He ends up taking the ball down the field. Him in the corner, they both, I don't think, even heard the whistle until they got around like the 20-yard line. At that point, Amari Cooper was just playing it safe and getting in the end zone just in case it could be called a touchdown. But for some reason, this referee decides, no, you stepped out of bounds way back here. Meanwhile, they showed on the jumbo board, and every single person on social media went and looked at it, and his foot didn't go anywhere near the out of bounds mark within a whole yard. So that was a bozo move from the ref. There were a couple ticky-tack calls that the refs kind of were making for both teams that I will let slide. That was the one call that just blew my mind. Now, getting back to the offense, and specifically getting to Deshaun Watson. We were coming into this game saying, if he's going to show up and be Deshaun Watson, this is the game he needs to do it. He's at home. He had a horrible week last week. You can't do any worse. Go be great this week. And damn it, he did. 27 to 33 stat line, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Deshaun Watson absolutely rocked out. It seemed like coming into this game, we were questioning, is Deshaun Watson even able to make these deep throws, these tight corner throws? Oh, he proved us wrong. There were 2 pinpoint throws he had to make. One to Amari Cooper, like I said, where he had to do the throw that got, for some reason, taken off as a touchdown. Still don't understand that. The other one was to Donovan Peoples-Jones. He had to make a nice tight throw off to the other side of the sideline. Big time catch from DPJ. That one was huge. And overall, the rest of the game, the only kind of bad moment, because like I said, he had a great game overall throughout the entire course of the game. He had nice, easy throws, worked the intermediate routes. He had a couple of deep routes or good deep throws he was trying to make. He did have one deep touchdown to Amari Cooper. That was kind of a busted coverage. Ended up being 6. I won't complain. The only thing that was kind of puzzling, I believe it was the second quarter or first quarter, one of those 2 quarters. He looked like he was going to take a sack, okay? They're moving down the field. They get to about like the 45-yard line, almost to the 50-yard line. It's, I think, 1st and 10. He goes to get kind of spun down, but instead of just taking the sack and it being maybe 2nd and 14, 2nd and 15, he tries to throw the ball away behind him. The running back, or whoever, I think it was Elijah Moore back there, he has no clue why he's even throwing it to him. So he has to run freely, run like a freak out of nature, trying to pick up this ball, and then he's trying to turn upfield. Ends up being like a 15-yard loss. And I think everybody on the sideline was even thinking like, Deshaun, what the fuck were you trying to do there? That was one of those head-scratching moments that's like, Deshaun, just take the sack. In that moment where you're getting pulled to the ground and there's obviously nobody open, it's one of those moments where unless it was 4th down, just take the sack. If it was 4th down, the game's on the line, obviously try to make something happen. But when the game's not even on the line, it's like second quarter, don't do that. Now, special teams, nothing really to be said there. Last week we had some problems with the punt returns. This week, nothing to be said. DPJ, I don't really think had obviously a lot of opportunities to return the punts. A lot of them were touchbacks. Some were being just pinned inside. He did do some fair catches. When it comes to the kick returns, nothing really crazy. I don't think we really even returned that many kicks. Well, obviously not. There was only 2 opportunities I think we really had to return a kickoff. And overall, special teams, like I said, great game. Made the field goals. Nothing else to be said. But the last question that is to be asked is, did we look good without Nick Chubb? When you look at the rushing report, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that took a rush today. 2 of them I won't really count because they were Marquise Goodwin. Took like a little end around, didn't really do anything else after that. And Elijah Moore had a couple rushing opportunities, but he never really got any movement going. Deshaun Watson had his couple big runs. Kareem Hunt got some action. Great to see him back in the lineup. And Harrison Bryant had a couple of quarterback sneaks. I like the addition of that. Get a big body in there. If you don't want your quarterback going in, having to sneak it, get a big body tight in there. Let him take the snap. He can move it forward for 4th and 1, 3rd and 1. You know what I mean? The only guys that were really running the ball was Pierre Strong and Jerome Ford. Pierre Strong did his thing. Jerome Ford did pretty well. Had him on my fantasy team. Did pretty well for me. Do I think this offense is going to be doing the same kind of thing they did today every single week without Nick Chubb being there, obviously? Probably not. I think they're just going to have to adapt to every single type of defense. This week, Titans are really good at stopping the run, so they had to kind of move around with these like quick passes, try and get that element of a run game without having to use these kind of backs, because these backs are not what Nick Chubb is, obviously. To compare a Jerome Ford, Pierre Strong, even the Kareem Hunt, to compare them to Nick Chubb is just not right. And Kevin Stefanski knew that going into this game. He knew he wasn't going to be able to just line up and run the ball like they usually do. They were going to have to try and be a little bit tricky, try and do some maneuvering around the lineup to get this to work. Last thing I'm going to say before I wrap this up. Kevin Stefanski, at the end of the game when Amari Cooper caught that long touchdown and Deshaun Watson ran over the sideline, that is the Kevin Stefanski I want to see. Deshaun Watson ran over there. He's trying to jump up into Kevin's, trying to make them both go up and high five. Kevin was smiling. I don't think I've ever seen Kevin Stefanski smile. Stefanski was smiling. He was giving a ball, big old hell yeah. He was having fun. That's what we want to see. So going forward, if we can see more of that, I'm going to be happy with this offense. But other than that, going forward with the rest of the season, we got Baltimore next week. What do we need to do for that kind of game? Right now we're 2-1. Coming into Baltimore, Baltimore just took an ugly loss to Indianapolis in overtime. Not the kind of way you want to lose that game. So they're going to be pissed. They're going to be wanting to come in and get some redemption. The game is at home. Baltimore is 2-1. We are 2-1. This is going to be the game like the Pittsburgh game. If you can't win these games, you're just going to be an average team. But if you win the game, you proved yourself to the league. We are to be respected. Will they win the game? As always, I don't know. I need to see the game first. But other than that, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. As always, with this kind of videos that you see here, if you wanted to enjoy, make sure you do drop a like. If there's anything you disagree with, agree with, anything you kind of want to talk about with the whole dynamic of the game, if you're a Browns fan, you want to talk about the game with me in the comment section down below, leave a comment down there and I'll be more than welcome to talk about it, debate it, chop it up, anything you want to talk about. If you're brand new to the channel and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, if you're a fan of Cleveland sports and you want to go ahead and hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post a new video here on the channel. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.